Cohesion, what is it and how can we create it in our writing? In this video, I'm going to show you an example of me creating some cohesion, all about daddy long legs, okay? It's something that I really don't like, and try to explain what it is through that. And I'm going to give you a quick tip at the end of the video as well to create cohesion in any piece of writing, okay? Just to give you some examples, cohesion, think of the word cooperate and think of the word connect. The co part, it means coming together, connecting together, working together with cooperate. Cohesion is making the ideas in a piece of writing come together, kind of bringing them together and giving them some kind of glue between them. Think of it as a spine or a piece of thread running through a piece of work so that it all kind of has some kind of connection. It's not just random paragraphs. There is some kind of link. There is some kind of like I said, some kind of thread that's running through. Okay, you can think of it as passing an idea from one paragraph to the next paragraph. So let me take you into my example text. I'm going to highlight some examples of cohesion that I've used, and then I'm going to come back to you and give you that tip at the end. Okay, so here's my text, the daddy of all annoyances, and I'm going to highlight the cohesive links that I've made in this text. So let's have a look. I'm going to use yellow. So slowly, deeply, calmly, I can finally breathe. It has been removed from my presence and no longer contaminates my thoughts. What am I talking about? The devil baby of spring and the daddy of all monsters. Daddy long legs are simply intolerable. Let's start with the name. Okay, I'm going to highlight that. Daddy. Whose daddy is it actually supposed to be? And are all of them male? Secondly, there is a long legs part. Why name an insect after what it looks like? We don't have human 2 legs, snake long body, or cow 4 stomachs. But the name is just scraping the surface of the problem, okay? So I said, let's start with the name here in this paragraph. That's my topic sentence, and I'm talking about the name. The next paragraph, but the name is just scraping the surface. I'm making a reference back. I'm making a link back to this paragraph, which is talking about the name, and I'm saying the name is just scraping the surface of the problem. Now I could have just gone straight into it and put, firstly, there is the unnatural way it levitates. I could have left this bit out, but by making a reference back to the name, I'm creating a little bit of cohesion across those paragraphs. So while the name is annoying, the other issues are terror-inducing. Firstly, there is the unnatural way it levitates before hovering menacingly towards you. They seem to have no idea which way they are going to go, like an OAP at a roundabout. That's no offense to OAPs. Before suddenly thwack, it's in your face. As well as the unnatural movement. So here I've talked about the unnatural way it levitates before hovering towards you. And here, as well as the unnatural movement. Movement is making a reference back, or unnatural movement, to the unnatural way it levitates. So again, I'm making a link back. I'm building a bridge back to that paragraph. Somewhere in evolution or heaven, depending on your inclinations, and I'm going to change my color here, the gene of the spider developed the ability to fly. It must have been a cruel day in heaven when God decided to punish us by giving the unholiest of insects this ability. Lord have mercy, please. Lord have mercy is making a reference back to the fact I'm talking about heaven, I'm talking about God, I'm talking about unholiest. I'm also linking all the way back to saying it's the devil baby of spring. So you can see here that I've got some religious references that link back to the paragraph preceding it, but also all the way back to the first paragraph. Switch back into yellow. So daddy long legs appear to be everywhere. Whenever you relax in a room, there appears a daddy long legs. If you walk through a narrow passageway, a daddy long legs appears. After you've closed the shower curtain, there appears a daddy long legs. My most recent experience. These are all experiences of the daddy long legs. And here, my most recent experience. So again, I'm making a link back. Final paragraph. Luckily, spring doesn't last forever. Let's switch this color one more time. Let's go pink. Okay, spring doesn't last forever. Here, I've talked about the devil baby of spring. and making a link all the way back to the opening paragraph. Luckily, spring doesn't last forever, and summer breezes in, followed by autumn and winter. And the funeral bells ring for these awkward arachnids. But then God's cruel joke will awaken. So again, that religious thread. So the religious thread has been developed from here, 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 and here. Think of that as one thread. And then between each paragraph, I've got a little connection, a bridge back, a bridge back, a bridge back. So you can do that through repeating the same words, the name, or repeating a synonym or a reference, so movement and levitate, so that's making that link back. Just generally referencing what I've been talking about, referencing the idea, the themes that you've got in there. So there you have the threads that are running through that piece of work, and that initial thread from the first paragraph to the last paragraph is always a really nice way to bring your work together. Mention something in the first paragraph, come back to it in the last paragraph, but make a change. Okay, make a change in that. So here's that quick tip for you that you can put in any piece of writing or any piece of creative writing, let's put it that way. Make a reference at the beginning in the first paragraph to the weather. Perhaps the rain is beginning to trickle down. Maybe in the middle of that piece of writing, or just close to the middle, again, make a reference to that rain. Maybe it's building up. Maybe the storm is building and there's thunder starting to rumble. Later on, make another reference to it. Okay, maybe it's dripping from the drain pipes, or maybe people are soaked and huddled. And then maybe at the end, in your final paragraph, a rainbow kind of appears as you look into the distance. So you're using the weather to create that thread through your piece of work. And you can do that with sunlight, rain, snow, changing weather, a sunrise and a sunset. But making those the reference to light throughout it, or darkness and shade. But using the weather in a piece of descriptive writing is something that you can bring in. No matter what's happening in your story, you can make those references and create that cohesion.